Ever felt like you're carrying the weight of the world? Because Karen at work gave you a weird look, or because your post only got 9 likes? Yeah, me too. But what if I told you that caring less, yes, literally giving fewer fucks, could actually make your life a whole lot better? Today, we're diving into The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Get ready to laugh, cringe, and maybe, just maybe, care a little less about the wrong things. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow with a tiny bag labeled 10 fucks use wisely. But before you've even had your coffee, 1 fuck gone because someone commented K on your story. Another one spent yelling at traffic that doesn't care about your existence. 3 burned on, scrolling through people who fake smile next to cars they don't own. And now it's noon, and you're emotionally broke. Our lives are defined by what we choose to give a fuck about. And most people? They're out here giving premium fucks to discount problems. Let me ask you, why are you investing your peace in people who wouldn't even notice if you deleted your number? Every time you say yes to nonsense, you're saying no to sanity, purpose, and peace. So Mark Manson's rule? Simple, ruthless, brilliant. Stop giving a fuck about everything and start giving a fuck about what actually matters. You don't need more motivation. You just need a better fuck filter. Let's cut the crap. You're not unhappy because your life is hard. You're unhappy because you think it shouldn't be. You scroll through Instagram, see someone smiling in Bali with a 6-pack and a smoothie, and think, why don't I feel like that every day? Because that's not real. Mark Manson doesn't sugarcoat it. Life is an endless series of problems. The solution to one is just the beginning of another. Think of life like a video game. Beat level 1? Congrats. Now face a boss fight on level 2. You got a job? Awesome. Now deal with office politics, deadlines, and Barry from accounting breathing loudly. You got into a relationship? Beautiful. Now learn how to argue without triggering World War III over pizza toppings. The point isn't to avoid problems, it's to pick the right kind of problems. Problems that are worth it. Problems that make you grow. Problems you're proud to fight through. Because happiness? It doesn't come from avoiding the struggle. It comes from choosing your struggle. Want to be truly happy? Then stop chasing a fantasy and start asking, what am I willing to suffer for? Because in the end, meaningful pain beats meaningless pleasure every time. Hold on. Before we reveal how failure becomes your greatest superpower, subscribe now, not for me, but for the version of you that's done playing small and ready to own the damn story. Here's another uncomfortable truth. You're going to fail. A lot. And that's awesome. Mark says, if you're stuck, the answer is action. Always action first, not motivation first, not perfection first. Action. Messy, ugly, what the heck am I doing action. You don't wait to feel confident to start a YouTube channel. You start, and then you become confident. You don't wait to feel worthy to apply for your dream job. You apply, get rejected 12 times, ugly cry into some nachos, and then you grow. Failure is progress. Sitting there binge-watching Netflix for the 3rd hour? Not so much. Ready to get roasted? Mark says, you're not special. I'm not special. Nobody's special. In a world where everyone's grandma tells them they're a unique snowflake, Mark reminds us that we're all mostly average at most things. And that's okay. Because when you stop believing you deserve greatness, just because, you start working for it. You earn it. And weirdly enough, that makes life way more satisfying. Let's face it, you're suffering. I'm suffering. Your neighbor who pretends they've got life figured out? Also suffering. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Mark Manson lays down. We all get to choose what we give a fuck about, and therefore what kind of suffering we're willing to endure. You want to be rich? Then be ready to suffer through 80-hour weeks, anxiety attacks, and rejection after rejection. Want love? Prepare to suffer through vulnerability, heartbreak, and long conversations about feelings when all you want is sleep and pizza. Here's the twist. Suffering is unavoidable, but not all suffering is equal. Some suffering makes you bitter. Other suffering makes you unstoppable. And you don't get to escape it. You only get to choose the pain that's worth it. Want meaning? Pick a struggle. Want purpose? Pick a better problem. Want peace? Accept that peace comes after war, not instead of it. So ask yourself, What pain are you willing to fight for? Because that pain, that's your path. Bad news. You're not stuck. You're just making crap choices and pretending you're not. Yeah, Mark Manson said it better. We don't always control what happens, but we always control how we interpret what happens and how we respond. In other words, you may not have ordered this chaotic life, but you're still the one holding the remote. Lost your job? You choose whether it's a breakdown or a breakthrough. Heart shattered? You choose if it makes you bitter or bulletproof. Every moment, even the boring ones, the painful ones, the why is this my life ones, you are choosing your next move. And yeah, even when you say, it's not my fault, guess what? Blaming others is also a choice. A really unproductive one. You can keep outsourcing your power to circumstances. Or you can wake up and realize you're the one behind the wheel. Not the weather, not your ex, not your boss. So the real question is, are you choosing growth? Or just choosing to stay comfortable and call it fate? Let's get brutally honest. You're wrong. About yourself, about the world, about pretty much everything. But here's the twist. So is everyone else. Mark Manson drops a truth bomb here. Growth is an endless cycle of replacing old, less accurate beliefs with slightly less wrong ones. Translation: your entire life is just a long string of beautiful mistakes. And the moment you think you've figured it all out, you've probably just found a more sophisticated way to be wrong. That's not failure. That's progress. Because truth isn't some treasure you find and frame. It's a messy, shifting target. And if you're not willing to be wrong, you're not willing to grow. Think about it. You thought your first love was forever. You thought success meant a fancy job title. You thought you'd be happy once you got there. Wrong, and wrong again. But that's the game. The goal isn't to be right, it's to be less wrong than you were yesterday. So stop clinging to your beliefs like a badge. Challenge them, break them, upgrade them. Because the most dangerous person in the room isn't the one who's clueless. It's the one who's convinced they're not. Let's be real. You're scared of failing. So scared, in fact, you'd rather do nothing than risk looking stupid. But Mark Manson throws that mindset out the damn window. If someone is better than you at something, it's because they've failed at it more than you have. Boom. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the fucking training ground. Every champion, built on rejections, breakdowns, and embarrassing flops. Every expert, a former amateur who kept falling forward. The truth is brutal. You can either fail repeatedly and move, or avoid failure and rot. Because progress isn't pretty. It's messy. It's awkward. It hurts. But it's real. The people doing big things, they're not smarter than you. They've just gotten really good at sucking and doing it anyway. So stop waiting to be perfect. Get in the ring, bleed a little. Because every failure is just another step forward, if you're brave enough to keep walking. You want more time? More peace? Learn to say no. Mark Manson isn't subtle here. You can't be an important and life-changing presence for some people without also being a joke and an embarrassment to others. If you're trying to please everyone, you'll end up pleasing no one, especially not yourself. Every yes to stuff that doesn't matter is a no to the stuff that does. Your dreams, your peace, your growth. Want to take your power back? Stop fearing rejection and start rejecting the noise. Say no, not out of anger, but out of clarity. Let's not sugarcoat it. You're going to die. We all are. Mark Manson isn't here to depress you. He's here to wake you up. You are going to die, and that's the only truth you can count on. When you realize that, suddenly, the things you worry about seem tiny. The stuff that used to matter doesn't. So here's the million-dollar question. What are you willing to give your limited time to? Because time's ticking, and you only have so many fucks to give. Don't waste them on nonsense. You only get one life. Give your fucks wisely. If this hit you even a little, smash that subscribe button and share this with someone who needs a wake-up call. See you in the next one.